The Zodiac, the Wheel of Time. The Wheel of Time keeps on turning. Events do not just happen, but arrive by appointment. Epictetus. The Zodiac has an immense impact on human life. In the West, the knowledge of the Zodiac has been reduced to astrological science and astrology forecasting, of which I will only touch upon in this introduction. Instead, I will focus on the cycle of the Platonic Great Year and provide evidence to substantiate Ecclesiastes Chapter 1, verses 9 to 11. We are graduates of Pisces, graduating into the sign of Aquarius. There were others who have taken the class prior to us, and there will be others that follow. Earth is a classroom, and we are nearing our graduation from this lower material age. Everything that happens has already happened to many classes prior. Discoveries are merely rediscoveries, due to similar vibrations shared with those countless previous attendees. Those who see the past have no need to see the future. There is nothing new under the sun. What has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done, and there is nothing new under the sun. Is there a thing of which it is said, "See, this is new"? It has been already in the ages before us. There is no remembrance of former things, nor will there be any remembrance of latter things, yet to be among those who come after. The Great Year. The Great Year is 25,920 years. Some say 24,000 years. Both numbers refer to the same great year. Each year, the sun passes entirely around the zodiac and returns to the point from which it started, the vernal equinox. And each year it falls just a little short of making the complete circle of the heavens in the allotted period of time. As a result, it crosses the equator just a little behind the spot in the zodiacal sign where it crossed the previous year. Each sign of the zodiac consists of 30 degrees, approximately, and as the sun loses about 1 degree every 72 years, it regresses through one entire constellation or sign in approximately 2,160 years, and through the entire zodiac in about 25,920 years. This retrograde motion is called the precession of the equinoxes. This means that in the course of about 25,920 years, which constitute one great solar or Platonic year, each one of the 12 constellations occupies a position at the vernal equinox for nearly 2,160 years, then gives place to the previous sign. The Yugas. The cosmic sun of our solar system moves through the signs of the celestial zodiac in 1-year cycles, and the whole system moves around a dual star or magnetic center in the cosmos in a 24,000-year cycle, referred to as the equinoctial cycle, consisting of 4 yugas or ages: Kali, Dwapara, Treta, and Satya, in a 12,000-year ascending arc of these 4 yugas and a corresponding 12,000-year descending arc. Similarly, the individual evolution of man is marked by cycles of his miniature solar cosmos. In 12-year cycles, man is slowly advancing in his spiritual evolution. In the holy science, Sri Yukteswar describes a recurring cycle of human development called the cycle of the yugas or ages, caused by influences from outside our solar system that affect the consciousness of all humanity. He explains that as the yugas advance, humanity increasingly manifests its higher potentials and expresses divine virtue more and more completely. The world is now in the ascending half of the cycle, in the second age, or Dwapara Yuga, which began in 1900. Where we are in the Bible. In Acts 2:17 it states, "And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh." The influences from outside our solar system also affect our weather. The weather events of climate change were duplicated at this time of the wheel in the past, and will again be duplicated in the future for those who reach this identical time on the wheel. A child is born on that day and that hour when the celestial rays are in mathematical harmony with his individual karma. His horoscope is a challenging portrait, revealing his unalterable past and its probable future results. But the natal chart can be rightly interpreted only by men of intuitive wisdom. These are few. Superstitious awe of astrology makes one an automation, slavishly dependent on mechanical guidance. The wise man defeats his planets, which is to say his past, by transferring his allegiance from the creation to the Creator. The more he realizes his unity with spirit, the less he can be dominated by matter. The soul is ever free. It is deathless because it is birthless. It cannot be regimented by stars. Sri Yukteswar. Mayan astrology offers a perspective of human existence not found anywhere. A person is said to have a certain destiny and personality traits shaped by the day sign under which they are born. Sons and daughters were given names that identify the traits inherited by their date and their time of birth. The study of astrology gives us a cosmic view of ourselves in the whole manifestation. When studying astrology, you see that this personality, with all its tendencies, talents, and things that will be at issue in this lifetime, are formed at the moment and place of birth. Our natal chart is an overview of our identity for this lifetime and our long passage from one lifetime to another. Sharon Omarad. Your date of death can be calculated if you know your time of birth and some trigonometry, states William Lilly. The starry pictures of the shining constellations have an eternal verity. They pertain to the living realities of the human soul and its varied experience. Thomas N. Burgoyne. Ecclesiastes 3. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. The stationary zodiac as we know it represents 12 great orders, creators, powers or forces through space, governed by great intelligences, by and through whom cosmic matter is transformed into systems of worlds and beings, which beings come into existence by the planetary chains, are educated and developed through races as represented by the signs, and who pass on to enjoy the attainment or fulfill a self-appointed duty which their degree of intelligence directs, or to go around the wheel again. Percival. Souls perfected on this earth pass on to another station. After traversing the planets, they come to the sun. Then they ascend into another universe and recommence their planetary evolution from world to world and from sun to sun. In the suns they remember, and in the planets they forget. Mathers, The Kabbalah Unveiled. Lord of the Animals. Zodiac comes from a Greek word meaning the circle of animals, or a circle of lives. Lamassu. The master of the animals, or lord of the animals, is a motif in ancient art showing a human between and grasping two confronted animals, male and female. Lamassu is an Assyrian protective deity, often depicted as having a human's head, a body of an ox or lion, and birds' wings. In some writings, it is portrayed to represent a female deity. A less frequently used name is Shedu, which refers to the male counterpart of a Lamassu. God-man. Man is a natural creature and a God in combination. Our natural part administers to our spiritual part the rite of baptism by water. Our nascent spiritual self is to give us the latter baptism by air and fire. We are born first as the natural man, then as the spiritual, the latter crowning the former. Or we are born first by water, then by fire. Of vital significance at this point are the two statements by St. Paul. That was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural. And first that which is natural, then that which is spiritual. Again he says, for the natural man comprehendeth not the things of the Spirit, neither can he. Of course he cannot, for he is not yet at the higher mount of evolution, and he must be transformed, transfigured, lifted up into a superior world of conscious dimension before he can cognize spiritual things. Evolution will thus transform him, and nothing else will. Alvin Boyd Kuhn. Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. In China, the zodiac is called the Yellow Road, and the sun is called the Emperor of the Yellow Road. As Elton John sang, the future lies beyond the yellow brick road. First, you must become Lord of the Animals. So goodbye, Yellow Brick Road, where the dogs of society howl. You can't plant me in your penthouse, I'm going back to my plow. Back to the howling old owl in the woods, hunting the horny-backed toad. Oh, I finally decided my future lies beyond the yellow brick road. First, you must become Lord of the Animals. As we travel the zodiac, we must remember it is our yellow brick road to a higher level of consciousness, the long way home. You may alternatively choose the path of liberation. As within, so without. The zodiac is not a starry belt in the heavens. It can be applied to things immeasurably greater and immeasurably smaller. Everything which has being has also its zodiac, for the zodiac is of the law according to which everything comes into existence, stays a while, then passes out of existence, only to reappear again according to the zodiac. The atom has its zodiac, the molecule its zodiac, the cell has its 12 signs of the zodiac, each stone, each plant, each animal has its zodiac. Every organ in the physical body has its own zodiac. All the organs, each having its own zodiac, exist in and are controlled by the larger zodiac of the whole physical body. Even so, the physical body of man lives in the larger zodiac of the psychic man, which in turn lives in the larger zodiac of the mental man, and all these live in the zodiac of the spiritual man. Thus man is related within and outside himself by different principles which go to make him what he is, to the atom and to the worlds, and systems of worlds beyond him. Harold Percival. As above, so below. Every form of life has its zodiac, its orbit of life and destiny. It may be infinitesimal or vast beyond conception, each in its own peculiar plane. So we see that the whole visible universe is one vast organism, the medium of expression for the invisible, real universe, the soul of God, the great central sun, the eternal center of all life, binding the whole into unity, one life. Thomas Burgoyne Bell, The Light of Egypt. The first Bible. Unquestionably, cosmic operation, cosmic significance lie behind the 12 constellations of the zodiac and the 36 or more stellar configurations. The planisphere, or chart of the heavens, was doubtless the first of all Bibles, pictorially edited. Not quite simply and directly, but intrinsically. All Bibles are amplifications and elaborations of the original volume of ideography first written on the open face of the sky, charted in the zodiac and heavenly maps, and later transferred to earth and written in scrolls and parchments. Man was instructed to fashion his new body of spiritual glory after the pattern of things in the heavens, the heavenly or zodiacal man. And a graph of the structure and history of the celestial personage was sketched by the enlightened sages in the configurated star clusters. Zodiac comes from the Greek word zodion, a small living image, signifying that it is a graph of the microcosmic life of man, which is cast in the form of the macrocosmic life of the universe, or of God. Man's own small body is a replica of this body of God, made in its image and likeness. The vast frame of cosmic man was outlined in the scroll of the heavens, the solar systems and galaxies being living cell clusters in his immense organism. Cycles of truth. In Luke 22:10 it states, "And he said unto them, Behold, when ye are entered into the city, there shall be a man meet you, bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house where he entereth in." The house is the house of Aquarius, when all things change from matter to spirit. Spirit's time has come. Now a new lineage is sent down from high heaven, states Virgil. The good, the pious, and the just are born when first Aquarius pours out his urn, states Manilius. When truth gets buried deep beneath 1,000 years of sleep, time demands a turnaround, and once again the truth is found. George Harrison. In order to prepare ourselves for this return to the age of the gods, we need only revision the past history of humankind through its available mythological material. The movement into the future always involves the revisioning of the past. History turns on a spiral, and with each turn it comes back on a new level to the initial position. Goethe wrote, "Progress is not followed a straight ascending line, but a spiral with rhythms of progress and retrogression, of evolution and dissolution." The Golden Age returns. In Kali Yuga, the intellect and capacity of man are characteristically confined to gross matter. In Dwapara Yuga, he gains comprehension of the electrical and atomic constituents of matter. In Tetra Yuga, the mental age, man acquires knowledge. His powers of telepathy, clairaudience, and clairvoyance develops. In Satya Yuga, he will have the power of continuous contact with God. His perception will be through intuition. Interplanetary and interastral travel will be accomplished by instantaneous astral projection. He will have mastered the full spectrum of divine powers. Yogananda. In Manu, Book 1, we find the following. In the first age, neither sickness nor suffering were known. Men lived 4 centuries. This was in the Krita or Satya Yuga. The Krita Yuga is the type of justice. The bull which stands firm on its 4 legs is its image. Man adheres to truth, and evil does not yet direct his actions. But in each of the following ages, primitive human life loses 1/4 of its duration. That is to say, in Treta Yuga, man lives 300 years. In Dwapara Yuga, 200. And in the Kali Yuga, our own age, but 100 years generally at the most. In the next 6 race, the natural age of man will be gradually increased, 200, then 300, and 400 in the last 2 yugas. Since the beginning of the 20th century, we have known that a very different Earth existed 12,000 years ago. and that mass extinction was the result of devastating climate change. We also have known that with climate change, humankind endeavored to farm and domesticate animals in order to establish a ready supply of food. The mystery has always been what happened to the climate. Now we know. The earth was a literal paradise, lush with vegetation and fruit, able to support a kingdom of large animals on all its continents. Humanity didn't need to farm because farming wasn't necessary. Likewise, there was no desire to hoard food or accumulate wealth. Such actions were simply unnecessary. Living with such abundance provided the leisure and the freedom to create a sophisticated civilization of unimaginable technology, a golden age of humanity, the evidence of which still exists to this day among the ruins and the abandoned temples and pyramids. Malkowski. Aquarius, the sign of the Son of Man. In the Bible, the sign of Aquarius is called the sign of the Son of Man. And in astrology, the water bearer is represented by a man emptying a water pot. The sign of Aquarius is the 11th sign of the Zodiac, and Kabbalistically, its numerical value is also 11. As is explained fully under that number, 11 symbolizes the first step in a new cycle, a new condition or undertaking. And as the Aquarian age dawns, our Earth and its humanity is preparing to take a new step, to enter into new cosmic fields, gain new experiences, and outline the great discoveries to be brought forth in the generations to come. Curtis. Uranus is the son of the sun and the sign of the Son of Man. The ruling planet of the age of Aquarius is Uranus. The Bible was written in Greek. The Greek word for heaven is Uranus, which is translated into English is Uranus. Matthew 4:17. Jesus began to say, "The kingdom of heaven is at hand." Uranus is known as the great destroyer of forms, and you are a form. But this destruction is only in order that a better form may come into being. The water bearer is linked with great floods, and with him who rides out the deluge and lays down the seed of a new order. The age of Aquarius. In the silent visage of the great Sphinx is etched the attitude of the timeless watcher, who waits through the ages for the coming of man, who shall rend his earth-wrought chains and achieve the destiny of his race. On the opposite side of the zodiac, the lion looks to the full emergence of the Aquarian man. The great potentialities of Leo, in their highest aspect, await the time of their manifestation in the ascending sign of the water bearer. In the air, the most refined and powerful fire abides. Aquarius represents the ideal toward which humanity is moving. The name itself is a haunting reminder of the hopes for a better world that many bury along with their all too fleeting youth. The age of Aquarius seems to hesitate in its dawning, whetting the longings of a world-weary generation. But no thoughtful observer of nature's process could presume that a new birth, transcending these limiting expectations, would take place until the old dead forms had disintegrated and become mere compost for the future. Sheep and goats. The god, you, must overcome and transmute into the agent of his own resurrection on the other side of the zodiac. In the main, the drama of the Lord's death and the scenes of the Christian Last Judgment are represented in the Egyptian Great Hall of Justice, where a person is separated from his sins, and those who have sided with Sut against Horus are transformed into goats. This doubtless means that they are sent back into incarnation for further experience, and life in the body is typed by the sign of the winter solstice, Capricorn, the goat, occupying the place of the nadir of descent into matter on the symbolic zodiacal chart. To separate the sheep from the goats is naturally to set off those still needing incarnation in Capricorn position from those who, as sheep in Aries, the ram, the lamb, at the spring equinox, are by position and significance out of the area of incarnate life, having made the Passover of the line separating physical from spiritual existence when they entered Aries. And the sign of the Son of Man shall then appear in the heavens, and then all the tribes of the earth shall lament. And they shall see the Son of Man coming upon the clouds of heaven, with great mystery and power. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather his chosen ones from the four winds, and from one extremity of the heavens to the other. And he will place the sheep, Aries, at his right hand, but the goats, Capricornus, at his left. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into the everlasting fire, prepared for the devil, which is Maya, and his angels. 13 stands for change, and transformation mostly causes fear in the humans. In tarot, the 13th card is death. Remember, through death is life. Beautiful indeed is the mystery given us by the blessed gods. Death is for mortals no longer an evil, but a blessing. Inscriptions found at Eleusis. And in Ecclesiastes it states, the day of death is better than the day of one's birth. The secrets of wisdom. It is written in the book of Zohar that its wisdom would be revealed to all toward the end of the 6,000 years, the period allotted to the correction of humanity. And when it is near the days of the Messiah, Christ consciousness, even infants in the world are destined to find the secrets of the wisdom, and know in them the ends and the calculations of redemption. And at that time it will be revealed to all. In Revelation 5:5 states, And one of the elders saith unto me, Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book, and to loose the 7 seals thereof. You have grown through your many reincarnations, and the seals of your chakras, or churches, have been loosed. Your third eye is returning, and with it the hidden powers lost so long ago. You must accept the challenge of purifying yourself, body, mind, and spirit. America. It is this that the cycles in their movement are bringing up to the surface now. In the United States and America generally, not only a great glory of civilization, which was forgotten 11,000 or more years ago, but also the very men, the monads, the egos, as they call them, who were concerned so many ages since in developing and bringing it to its final luster. In fact, we of the 19th century, hearing of new discoveries and inventions every day, and dreaming of great advances in all arts and sciences, are the same individuals who inhabited bodies among the powerful and brilliant, as well as wicked, Atlanteans, whose name is forever set immortal in the Atlantic Ocean. The Europeans are also Atlantean monads, but the flower, so to speak, of this revival or resurrection is and is to be on the American continent. I will not say the United States, for mayhap when the sun of our power has risen again, there may be no United States for it to rise upon. W. Q. Judge. New Order of the Ages. The phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum, Latin for New Order of the Ages, appears on the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States, first designed in 1782, and printed on the back of the American dollar bill since 1935. The phrase also appears in the coat of arms of the Yale School of Management, Yale University's business school. The phrase is often mistranslated as New World Order, for which the Latin would be Nuevo Ordo Mundi. Origin and meaning. The phrase is taken from the 4th Eclogue of Virgil, which contains a passage, lines 5 to 8, that reads, Now comes the final era of Sibyl's song. The great order of the ages is born afresh. And now justice returns, honored rules return. Now a new lineage is sent down from high heaven. death and rebirth. No mother race, any more than her sub-races and offshoots, is allowed by the one reigning law to trespass upon the prerogatives of the race or sub-race that will follow it, least of all to encroach upon the knowledge and powers in store for its successor. Thou shalt not eat of the fruit of knowledge of good and evil, of the tree that is growing for their heirs. The Mahatma Letters. So that when a new minor period sets in, the earth is so changed, even geologically, as to be practically a new world. That of these 12 transformations, the earth after each of the first 6 is grosser, and everything on it, man included, more material than after the preceding one, while after each of the remaining 6, the contrary is true. Both earth and man are growing more and more refined and spiritual with each terrestrial change. Blavatsky. Last scene. Near their loved waves cold, Pisces take their seat, with Aries join and make the round complete. Once more a reaction, the last scene of the soul's impersonal drama. The constellation of Pisces is the symbol of rest and expectation. The soul has now completed the first round or rung in the cycle of necessity, and its next state is that of incarnated man. It has triumphed over every sphere below, and defied in turn every power above, and is now within that 6th state of the embryonic soul world that transforms all its past knowledge, sorrow, and suffering into experience, and produces the impersonal man. It has traveled through constellated states within matter and spirit, and as a human soul, with reason, intuition, and responsibility, it will, in its next state, become subject to those same powers when reflected from a different plane. With his own hands he must build his temple, the symbol of perfected man. Each stone accurately measured, cut, polished, and in its proper place. The proportions symmetrical, hence harmonious. The keystone of whose arch is will, its foundation love. This accomplished, he will have completed the second round of the great cycle of necessity. Thomas Burgoyne Bell. Light of Egypt. Don't worry, be happy. The androgynous god Happy held the vessels that overflowed with the waters of celestial and terrestrial life, and the ego could choose between the 2 streams. In one he embraced divine wisdom, or Thoth Hermes, and entered fully into Aquarius. In the other he plunged again into the river of forgetfulness. Thoth Hermes is repeatedly connected with Happy, as both the bearer of the water vessel and keeper of the gates of heaven, as Nebo was the lord of wisdom at Babel, the gate of the gods. The Egyptians held that drinking the supernal waters of Aquarius provided the key to the immortal gates, the Tower of Babel. The Book of the Dead records this in vivid prose. May the abyss of water be open to me, Tahuti Happy, Thoth Happy, the Lord of the horizon, in my name of opener. Built is the golden tower, the flame-born child, the light. Sri Aurobindo wrote this poem, Savitri, about the golden age, when we will all see the light and become the flame-born child, baptized by the Holy Ghost or fire, and when we can all take a sad song and make it better. Then shall be entered here the law of pain. Earth shall be made a home of heaven's light. The superconscient beam shall touch men's eyes, and the truth-conscious world come down to earth, invading matter with the Spirit's ray, awakening its silence to immortal thoughts, awakening the dumb heart to the living word. This mortal life shall house eternity's bliss, the body's self-taste immortality. O mind, grow full of the eternal peace. O work, cry out the immortal litany. Built is the golden tower, the flame-born child. The full presentation will provide a greater comprehension by mystics, sages, occultists, scientists, Christians, and those from Tibet, India, and China from the East. I will present an understanding of your reality and why you travel a yellow brick road.